Okay, so what if I told you that the phone in your hand or the screen you're watching this on right now, and even the future of clean energy, all of it depends on sand? Yeah, sand. But we're not talking about just any old beach sand. This is a special kind, and it's kicking off a massive, multi-billion-dollar industrial revolution in a place you'd probably never guess. So let's dig in. So here's what we're going to do. First up, we'll get into what makes this super sand is so special. Then, we'll take a look at the global gold rush, or I guess sand rush, and see who's clamoring for it. After that, we're heading to Egypt. We'll unpack their huge industrial pivot, check out the massive factories literally rising from the desert, and then we'll do the math. You're going to see how a simple grain of sand turns into an absolute fortune. And finally, we'll wrap up by asking the big question: is this a solid foundation for Egypt's future, or is it just a castle made of sand? All right, let's get right to it. Our story starts with the main character, sand. But I want you to completely forget the beach. This isn't that kind of sand. We're talking about the hidden ingredient that pretty much powers our entire modern world. And listen, that's not me exaggerating, not at all. This stuff is, quite literally, the invisible backbone of our digital lives. I mean, without it, say goodbye to the internet, smartphones, the whole green energy revolution. It just wouldn't happen. It's that important. Just think about it for a second. The tiny chips inside your computer, yep, needs this sand. The fiber optic cables that are probably streaming this to you right now, those too. Solar panels popping up everywhere creating clean energy, you guessed it. Even things like super bright quartz lighting. It all comes back to this one single raw material. It is everywhere. Okay, so what is this stuff? Its official name is high-purity quartz. You might also hear it called silica sand. And what makes it so special, the secret sauce really, is its purity. It's basically almost 100% silicon dioxide, with extremely low levels of other junk like iron oxide. And that purity, it's not just a nice to have. It's absolutely non-negotiable for high-tech stuff. I mean, one tiny microscopic contaminant can wreck an entire super expensive batch of microchips. So you can imagine, when a material is this critical, everybody wants a piece of it. It's no surprise there's a full-on global rush to get it. Let's just take a look at how big this demand really is. Get this. Just this year, in 2024, the market for high-purity quartz is worth over $1 billion, and it's only going up from here. So yeah, this is not some small niche thing. We're talking about a fundamental pillar of the entire global tech economy. So who's buying all this sand? Well, it really boils down to two huge players. First, you've got the semiconductor industry. You know, the guys who make all the computer chips for, well, everything. They're snapping up over 40% of the supply. And right behind them, growing super fast, is the solar industry. They need this stuff to make the photovoltaic panels that are key to the whole green energy transition. And where is all this high-tech sand ending up? The answer couldn't be clearer. It's going to the Asia-Pacific region. They are the undisputed heavyweight champion here, using almost 60% of the entire world's supply. Why? Well, that's where the world's biggest and most advanced chip and solar panel factories are. It creates this incredibly intense, focused demand all in one place. Okay, so with all that context, let's bring in our main player. Enter Egypt. See, Egypt is sitting on huge reserves of this incredibly valuable sand. And they're looking at this global rush and thinking, this is our moment. They're making a huge strategic pivot, and they see this as a golden opportunity. So, why now? Why the big, urgent change? Well, to put it simply, Egypt's economy is kind of facing a perfect storm right now. The money they get from the super important Suez Canal, it's dropped a lot because of all the regional conflict. On top of that, their natural gas production is facing some serious challenges. The bottom line is the country desperately needs new ways to make money, and fast. And this isn't just some random idea they cooked up. It's all part of a big official national plan called Egypt Vision 2030. And the key takeaway here, the whole point of it, is to stop just digging stuff out of the ground and shipping it away cheap. The goal is to build their own industries right there in Egypt that can take those natural resources, turn them into high-value products, and in the process, pull in some serious foreign investment. This right here really shows you the shift in thinking perfectly. The old way, that was all about collecting transit fees from the canal and exporting raw stuff like gas and minerals. The new vision, it's all about manufacturing, becoming a green energy hub, and exporting things that have real value added to them. It's a complete 180 for the country's entire economic identity. Okay, so a big vision is great, but talk is cheap, right? Making it actually happen is the hard part. So let's look at the actual concrete projects that are turning this plan from just words on a page into real steel and glass rising up from the ground. First up, we have the Ain Sokna Solar Complex. Now, this is a big one. It's strategically placed right in the Suez Canal economic zone, and it's backed by a $200 million investment from a Chinese company called Sunriv. And their goal? It's incredibly ambitious. They want to churn out and export $300 million worth of solar panels every single year. The idea is to turn this whole area into a real powerhouse for renewable energy manufacturing. And the second major piece of the puzzle is the new Alamein Silicon Complex. This is another huge project, $172 million facility. And its job is to handle that all-important first step in the process. It's designed to take Egypt's raw quartz, and remember, they think they have something like 40 million tons of it, and process it right there, at home, into the much, much more valuable stuff, metallic silicon and polysilicon. You know, the essential building blocks for all those computer chips and solar panels. All right, now we get to the real heart of it, the part that makes this whole gamble so compelling. We're talking about the incredible economics behind this strategy. This is where you see how a humble grain of sand gets turned into, well, industrial gold. And this quote right here from Dr. Ahmed El-Fouli, it just nails the whole idea perfectly. I mean, why would you dig up your country's natural wealth just to sell it for pennies so someone else can make all the profit? It makes so much more sense to process it yourself at home and keep the real value. That right there is the basic logic driving this entire shift for Egypt. Okay, let's put some hard numbers on this. Here's our baseline. When Egypt exports its high-purity quartz just as raw sand, unprocessed, they get about $15 a ton. 15. Just lock that number in your head for a second. Now watch this. After just the first step, processing that same ton of sand at a facility like the new one in Alamein, the value doesn't just go up, it skyrockets to $3,400 a ton. That's just a mind-blowing jump in value. But hold on, because we're not done yet. And now for the final incredible leap. When you take that silicon and refine it even further into the super high-grade polysilicon that's needed for semiconductors, the value of that original ton of sand absolutely explodes to $15,000. Let that sink in, from $15 to $15,000. That is the unbelievable economic power of climbing the value chain. So let's recap. Egypt has the raw material, they've got the national strategy, and these massive multi-million-dollar projects are already being built. Everything seems to be lining up. But the biggest question of all still hangs in the air. Can Egypt really pull this off? Can they turn the sands of their deserts into the solid foundation for a whole new industrial era? Look, the potential payoff is astronomical. There's no doubt about it. But the road ahead is packed with challenges. We're talking intense global competition and the huge task of building a highly skilled workforce to run these advanced facilities. The whole world is going to be watching to see if this massive high-tech gamble actually works. A future built, quite literally, from a grain of sand.